Megan and I'm a zookeeper here at Cherry Brook Zoo. This week we're featuring Charlotte, our three-toed box turtle, on our virtual field trip. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the New Brunswick government has mandated that we close our doors to the public. However, we are still here every day taking care of the animals. What does that mean? We want to bring the zoo to you. And all we ask is for $1 or $2. Please click the donate button below or see this video description for more ways that you can donate today. Now who's ready to have some fun? Oh, and if you don't mind keeping your eye out, that monkey's still on the loose, and we've heard rumors that he's been spotted. So you can let us know in the comments where you saw him and how many times. So today we're talking a little bit about three-toed box turtle behavior. So these guys, as Julie mentioned, are mostly terrestrial. So they do spend almost all of their time on land. They need constant moisture, so they do dig burrows, they dig little holes, and they do spend a lot of their time in the ground, just with a lot of moisture content. During wet seasons in the places that they come from, so around mid to southern United States, you do see them spend a lot of time soaking in puddles of water, just to soak and then to get a drink, but for the most part they do spend their time on land. So they do most of their digging with their back feet. So females, when they come into mating, so they go through their cycle, they breed around the springtime, and then they lay their eggs once it starts to warm up a little bit. They lay clutches of 3 to 5 eggs. The females actually dig out their holes to bury their eggs in, and that can take up to 8 hours. So what they do is they use their back feet to kick dirt out. So if they have nice moist dirt that stays together, then it's easy for them to kick the dirt out, and they can dig a nice big hole to lay their 3 to 5 eggs in. If they are digging in substrate that's more like sand and falls apart easier, they actually urinate in the hole to make sure that the sand doesn't collapse back in on it. So to make sure that those eggs are able to have lots of room, they do pee around the outside edge of the hole and continue to dig it out to make sure that the dirt stays nice and wet. These guys do go into sort of a hibernation season, so especially if you have them outside, they're really inactive from around November or December until about March. If it's warm, so for instance here, Charlotte lives in our reptile house. She spends her time in a regular climate-controlled habitat, therefore she doesn't have to enter a hibernation season, although she does have a little bit of a less active season. As mentioned, she is a really active turtle. Most box turtles are. They spend a lot of time traveling, foraging, and hunting. However, they do have a slow period even if they have regular temperatures throughout the year, so consistent temperatures. So right around now, Charlotte will start to get her appetite back up for the other types of food she likes, so she regularly eats worms, so superworms, mealworms, and sometimes frozen then thawed pinky mice. She also, in the summer, tends to eat a lot more of other foods. So she eats a lot of different produce in the summer because she's more active and she needs more things to fuel her body and to energize her. We're going to talk more about the nutrition tomorrow, but just to mention that it is related to how their seasons go, what they eat, when they eat, how much they eat is all related to their behavior as well, because if she's less active, she eats less. If she's more active, she eats more. Going back to talk a little bit more about their breeding habits and stuff like that. So males can be really territorial, and they tend to spend a lot of time in their very specific area, so less than a square kilometer of space. So as we mentioned, it's really important to make sure you do not remove a turtle from their home. It can be very distressing for them. So once territories are claimed, the only time males and females tend to venture out is during breeding season. So turtles don't mate for life. They do just come in and out of territories, so whoever, it's kind of first come first serve basically in terms of breeding. However, there are sometimes disputes over females between males. For the most part, the obviously larger and stronger male will win and the other male will just walk away. However, there are disputes and they do use their mouths, or beaks as they're actually called because they are very sharp, to defend against each other, and essentially whoever establishes dominance gets to breed. So breeding cycles are from the warmer weather, so basically when it starts to warm up in the springtime, and eggs, once they're laid, take about 70 to 90 days eggs to hatch. They have to stay incubated at a certain temperature, so that's why they're laid during a certain time in the season. But those 3 to 5 eggs are usually very successful because it's a small clutch, and the mothers are very, very responsible, so making sure that those eggs are very well protected. So in captivity here, Charlotte does have a special light that helps simulate some sunlight. So since we aren't putting her outside, because that could be really distressing for her to move her inside and outside because she couldn't stay outside during our winters, we do have to have constant sunlight simulated. So a light comes on in the morning and turns off at night. So a normal day cycle for her, and it does make sure that her shell can stay in good condition. She did have an injury before once we received her. It has absolutely no effect on her life. It doesn't bother her in the least. But we do want to make sure that UV light stays on at all times during the daytime to ensure that she has proper health. Thank you so much for joining us on our virtual field trip. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Atlantic time for another adventure with Charlotte, our box turtle. Make sure you check the comments below tomorrow's video for the answers to today's questions.